And I was like, oh, where does one rent a drone? He told me Craigslist. And it blew my mind that in 2015, people in this day and age were renting without verifications, without insurance, without thought, drones on Craigslist.
You're listening to the Drone Radio Show podcast, the show about drones and the people who use them for business, fun, and research. Hosted by Randy Goers.
Hello, everyone. This is Randy Goers, and welcome to the Drone Radio Show podcast, episode 87. Are you looking to make some money with your drone? Then you're going to be especially interested in hearing from today's guest. Waleko is CEO and founder of Up Sonder, the world's first peer-to-peer on-demand marketplace dedicated exclusively to drone rentals. Providers earn extra money by renting out their drone or service, while renters save time and money by renting from an Up Sonder member within their direct area. Up Sonder also powers its deliveries with UberRUSH, giving members access to on-demand drones. In this episode, Derek talks about the origins of Up Sonder, how drone owners and operators can make money, and the company's quest to solve world energy and drinking water shortages. Let's pick up the interview where I asked Derek to introduce himself.
My name's Derek Waleko, and I'm the CEO and founder of Up Sonder. Up Sonder is a on-demand drone marketplace powered by UberRUSH. So what we allow the general public to do, those that are certified drone pilots or with the FAA or people who own drones that are registered with the FAA, we allow them to come onto our marketplace and list either their drone for rent or their services for hire. And then we allow commercial industry and the general public to rent those services or those drone rentals. And that basically is Up Sonder. We're just a very unique marketplace that is catered directly to the drone industry.
There are other marketplaces for drone services. So what differentiates Up Sonder from those companies?
We do have competitors in this space. I don't think anyone is doing it quite like Up Sonder is. We do have a number of competitive advantages that really differentiate us from the rest. Number one, it's the on-demand capabilities. We have a great relationship with Uber. We use UberRUSH technology built into our back end to deliver drones to people from the time they order it to the time it's in their hand in 30 minutes. Before, the fastest time you can get a drone to you would probably be about 24 hours. That's something that's very dramatic is the time that we're able to get a drone to a user. So we're very proud of that. Two, there's a lot of trust and safety issues out there. Well, I know for a fact that no one else can offer this is because we're the only drone company in the industry that has it. We offer free insurance to our drone owners that are listing their drones for rent. And basically the way that works is that a third party rents your drone and they crash it. And you're liable for, as the drone owner, through a lawsuit, you're covered under our umbrella policy up to $1 million. Again, the reason why we know we're the only insurance company out there that has that is because we went out to the marketplace for the last 6 months and we were turned down by every underwriter out there. And it wasn't until we went back out to the marketplace and we really rehashed out and we negotiated and we came up with great terms and we came up with a business model that the underwriters liked. And so now we have the very first that is built off of the sharing economy insurance policy that we offer to our providers completely free. And then 3, we have a personal company guarantee that will take care of our members' drones up to $2,500. So, the liability policy is $1 million liability policy, but that's just for liability. So what we took one step further is, we also understand is that drone owners are passionate about their drones. And so one of the pain points is, well, what if something happens? So us as a company, what we do is we tell them we'll take care of that damage. If your drone gets damaged during one of the rentals, we will replace it up to $2,500. So if your drone costs, you have Phantom 4, it's about $1,400, you're going to get a brand new drone from our company to make you whole and make you right. And we just think that's the right thing to do and to gain that public trust. So we're really excited about all those points, but we really think each one of those points along the way really differentiates us. And 2 that I'm leaving out that are hugely important are our cash back programs on top of it. We offer $150 cash back for those that became certified Part 107 drone pilots through the FAA. You have to pay that $150 to the FAA for that test. Being a member of Up Sonder, we give you that $150 back on the same token, the $5 that you had to pay to the FAA for drone registration, we also, again, if you're an Up Sonder member, we give you that $5 back for registering that drone. So I think there's a huge list of why we stand out far above and beyond any of our competitors out there in the marketplace, and we really are proud of each of those points.
Let's talk about the opportunities offered through Up Sonder. If I want to rent a drone, what do I need to do?
So if you're on the demand side of things, if you're a renter and you want to rent a drone, there's really two types of renters that we cater to. There's the commercial segment of it. That's industry. Those are construction industry. That's your real estate, your agriculture sectors, things of that nature. Then you understand the benefit of having a drone, and you come on, create a business account, and you can go ahead and rent a drone pilot within your direct area to service your drone project needs. And so you can create that company account and come on. And then what we can do also with the other side of it is the general public. If the father wants to take his son out to the park and fly a drone, and drones really are the modern day kite flying, they're able to do that too. He can come onto the site, and we ask for everyone's ID before to verify they are who they say they are. We really put safety first, and we make sure that we know who has the drone and where. And so we put those safety measures in place. But basically, you can come onto the site if you just want to rent it for something as simple as hobby flying. It doesn't have to necessarily be that it's going to be for a commercial purpose. The general public is free to rent as well.
Once they're on the site, can they request a specific type of drone? How does that work?
So there's a number of different filters that we allow for on the search site. The first one that you start off with is your location, where you're located in the world, if you're going to be traveling. And then you would kind of populate a list of drone pilots within your area or drones within your area. And then you can choose one. And then from there, you can drill down by type or by features. And then depending on what you want, you can choose to talk directly to the owner or the service provider through an inquiry service. We have a back-end internal messaging system that allows for that communication to happen. And then you guys can go back and forth and talk about, what you need the drone for, or if they have any recommendations. And then if all is, both sides are happy, you can actually go through the booking process. And we streamlined everything. So we even integrated Apple Pay so that the user experience is one that's very nice. And so it makes it even easier to pay for a drone, just, a thumbprint, and then you have a drone. But yeah, the search features are there to break it down into drone type or drone feature or by location.
This is something that I've always wondered about because I'm an avid traveler. And when I do travel, I like to travel really light,
Yes.
trying to put everything I need into my carry-on. So having the opportunity to rent a drone when I get to my vacation destination would be really cool.
I completely agree with you. Those are definitely use cases that we see, and that is one of the big ones that me personally. So when we're even testing the system, because we're right now doing test marketing, and we're launched beta right now, and we're launched in San Francisco, Chicago, and New York. And before our launch, we were in San Francisco, and we were testing the markets. And so we wanted to test the logistics part of it. And I didn't want to fly. We're based in Los Angeles, and I didn't want to fly to San Francisco with my drone because it was going to act as my carry-on, and I already had a carry-on, and I didn't want to put things on the plane. Anyways, I completely agree with you that I love to travel light. That's just who I am, and it sounds like that's who you are as well. So what I did is I actually left my drone at home, and we pinged one of our operators in the area, and we said, hey, we're going to be doing a test. Would you mind if I rented your drone for these tests? And that was exactly what we did. So it was so nice to just fly light. I got to San Francisco. I ordered the drone as if I was renting it from them, and we tested the delivery portion of it from UberRUSH, and everything was nice, and I returned it, and then I got back on my flight to Los Angeles, and we continued. So it's a beautiful thing. But it's not only that for drone pilots, though. It's not for people who already own drones and just want to travel light. That definitely is the case, but it's also for people who can't afford $1,000+ drone, but they do want access to this great technology. So we give them a low cost option to be able to rent a drone for the day, for the week, for the month, and they don't have to go out there and actually spend that amount of money to buy a quality drone.
Do you see this being something that beginning flyers would use? People who may not know how to fly yet, but they want to learn and practice on a drone?
Oh, yes. No, it really is. I think the drone industry is really focused heavily on the commercial side of things. And it makes sense because honestly, that's where it makes most sense. I think the commercial side of things, they get it. They understand why the benefit of drones really affects, saves time, saves money, right? No one's really focusing on the general population, the hobbyists out there. And I think that person out there that's looking for a new drone, can really eliminate that buyer's remorse by coming on to Up Sonder and searching and trying before they buy, basically. I mean, how nice is it, instead of just going through YouTube reviews, if you can just physically get your hands on the drone itself, go out there, fly 6 different ones and say, you know what, I really love this model. I think I'm going to go ahead and buy this, and then go ahead and execute that and have no buyer's remorse, and then put it on Up Sonder and start making money with it. But yeah, it's something that we see is also helpful to the people that are looking to get started in the industry.
How about the other side? People that have a drone or a drone service and they want to market them on Up Sonder. How do they work with the system?
I think I just read this the other day. It was a great statistic, and it kind of blew me away and to show kind of the growth. But I believe right now the FAA has somewhere around 200,000 pilots that operate aircrafts that you would fly in and whatnot, whether it's just the small Cessnas or up to the airline pilots. And they've been registering pilots for the last 100 years. And so they just said, since they, over the last 2 years, they've been registering from 333 exemptions, and then the new Part 107 that opened up in 2015 and August 29th. Today, they have over 650,000 remote pilots registered with the FAA, and it was just astonishing to see that growth. And all those people that are doing the Part 107, that's for commercial use. That's for making money with your drone. You don't need to do any of that if you're going to be flying for hobbyist purposes. You don't need to have this special license to go out there and just enjoy it in the park. And so that really tells you that there's people out there hungry and looking for a way to monetize their drone. And I think Up Sonder really satisfies that niche and that itch to get out there and try to get people up and going and servicing other people that need drones. So the pilots out there that are these Part 107 that the FAA opened up, they're looking for a way to start their own business. And I think Up Sonder gives them that opportunity.
Yeah, I can see where that would provide some value. I know a few people that bought a drone, and for whatever reason, the business idea didn't work out as they hoped, and they're just not flying it as much as they thought. So the marketplace sounds like it provides an opportunity for the owner to make some money, even though they may not be using the drone the way they had originally anticipated.
That's exactly right. There's 2 outlets for them. If maybe the demand side for actual drone projects where someone needs to hire you for your specific talents aren't there, well, maybe someone who just wants to use the drone is. And so that, you're right, is an avenue for someone to still make money with their drone without physically having to travel or have to pilot for it. Put the drone to work while you're at work.
And for those that have a drone service, it sounds like Up Sonder can provide a tool or a vehicle for owners to market their services to others.
It is. It's not just for individual drone pilots. We also have on our site, we have a number of businesses that have teams of drone pilots that come on and list with Up Sonder, because everyone that is a business out there has a marketing budget that is looking to gain more business for their current business. And Up Sonder provides that drone business out there one more avenue to kind of get more business brought to their attention. And basically what it is, they're basically just using our marketing budget, because we're out there, we're spending money advertising Up Sonder, and we're letting the United States know that this is an ideal place to, if you need a drone or if you need drone services, to go to. So they can continue doing what they do normally day to day, advertising their business. And then they also have this new outlet that they can use our marketing budget to try to get more business for their drone services. So yeah, it's kind of a win-win situation. All our accounts are free. We don't charge anything for members to come on to our sites. There's zero cost for a drone company that does drones for a service to come on to Up Sonder. It really is a no-brainer.
Do drone for service operators have to have a Part 107 certification?
That was funny. When we originally were starting to develop this, we were thinking about not making that a requirement. But the more we thought about it, it didn't make any sense to kind of facilitate an unsafe environment to grow the drone industry. We really felt it was important to make sure that every single person, even though that meant maybe slower growth for us, we really felt it was the right thing to do. And so we don't allow anyone that's not certified onto the platform. So anyone that's going to be renting or hiring a drone pilot for a project can feel reassured that we only allow FAA certified drone pilots onto our site. There's over 3 million drones in the United States, but nowhere close to that are they registered with the FAA. And so, again, for the drones that you're renting, we only allow drones that are registered with the FAA as well. So those 2 criteria are required. And we require them to submit their pilot license and their proof that they passed their test. And we do some ID verifications and whatnot. And we work closely with the FAA to make sure that that is exactly true.
If I'm requesting a drone for service operator to do a job for me, how does insurance coverage work?
So we are still working with industry. So the same pain point that we originally had with getting the actual physical drone owners insured is the pain point that we're having right now with industry. Just no one is willing to, the underwriters are not willing to write a policy to insure the operators of the drone. So right now, we do not have insurance for the operations of the drone, but we do have a great partnership with Verifly. And so what we do is we recommend to our operators and to our renters that they get insured for operational purposes through Verifly.
Let's talk logistics. What are the options for getting a drone from the renter to the user?
So there's two options. When a renter comes onto the platform and they're about to book a drone, through the booking process, they'll be hit with two possibilities. One is a free one, which is to basically work out with the provider a time and place to meet to pick up the drone. And the other one is with UberRUSH. So you can choose to have the on-demand feature and have UberRUSH deliver it directly to you. And so if you choose UberRUSH, you will pay for that transport. Average cost is anywhere between $8 to $18, what we're seeing, less for round trip. That will take care of the trip there and the trip back for the delivery of this drone.
And right now, UberRUSH is only available in a few cities. Is that right?
That's correct. The agreement that we have with UberRUSH is that we'll grow as they grow. And so right now, UberRUSH is only available in Chicago, San Francisco, and New York. So those are our launch cities that we are launched in right now and operating.
Is Up Sonder up and available outside of these cities if people just want to negotiate the transfer of the drone between themselves?
Not right now. It's just in those three cities, but I don't want to make any announcements right now, but I'm very hopeful that very soon, hopefully within maybe before first quarter of the year is over, we'll be talking about a national rollout.
I'm curious, where did the name Up Sonder come from?
Up Sonder comes from, actually, Sonder is an anagram for the word drones. So if you rearrange the letters of drones, it spells Sonder and vice versa. So really, the company is called Up Drones, but we call it Up Sonder. And the distinction, the reason why we didn't call it Up Drones and we changed the lettering around is because we wanted to soften the image that drones have. Because not everyone in America views drones as a positive thing. There's a lot of invasion of privacy concerns. Sometimes just the general thought goes to military drone applications and things of that nature. And so there's this negativity outside the drone community that we have to deal with. And so part of our marketing efforts of going out there and designing Up Sonder was to come up with a name that kind of softened the image of drones itself. And so our mascot is Sonder the bee, after a drone bee. And so what we did, we took away his stinger, we made his propellers all rounded, we made all the curves on him very soft. And what we're really trying to do is present drones in a new light to the general public to let them know that this really is an amazing technology and it's something that is here to stay. And we're really trying to change the conversation around drones.
How much time did it take you to come up with Sonder after rearranging the letters?
Yeah, it didn't take long at all, actually. When we were thinking about what we could do and being clever with it, Sonder popped out pretty quickly. What took longer was actually the research behind making sure that Sonder wasn't a bad word in another language.
Right, okay, yeah. Tell me about the origins of the company. Where did the idea of Up Sonder originate?
So my background is I handled investments for the South Korean government. I led the M&A division for my Korean clients to acquire companies in the U.S., and I helped Korean companies get established in the U.S. At my agency at the time, that I was having a side conversation with somebody in the marketing department. And we were just talking about product placement and representing products and whatnot for some of the clients. And one of the gentlemen was telling me that they needed to get a drone and they were going to rent a drone. And I was like, oh, that's very interesting. And I was like, oh, where does one rent a drone? The concept of renting a drone was foreign to me. And so it was an interesting question for me. And he told me Craigslist. And it blew my mind that in 2015, a technology like drones and kind of the unsafe, I guess, image that Craigslist have and all the horror stories that are out there about Craigslist, not just for anything, was that people in this day and age were renting without verifications, without insurance, without thought, drones on Craigslist. It just floored me. And so, I quickly did some quick research and saw that in every major metropolitan area in the United States, in fact, people were doing this. They were listing their services. They were listing their drones for rent on Craigslist. And so I got to work right away. And it was kind of an aha moment. A light bulb went off, and I incorporated the same week and started building Up Sonder from the ground up to what it is today.
And that was in 2015?
That was October 2015. Yep. That was end of the year. And so I'm actually very proud of my team because in under a year, we delivered our first drone. And of course, this was the company testing it, but we were able to deliver from the time that the idea had just came into my head to the time that my entire team had built the technology and we had developed everything. Before October 12th, 2016, it was like October 9th or October 11th or whatnot, we delivered our very first drone on demand through UberRUSH. And it was a very, very exciting moment because it was the first time the world ever seen that. And we did it under 30 minutes. So I was very pleased at the lightning speed that we were able to get to that point. And now we're at our next chapter and we're actually in full beta launch and we're looking to see what happens.
What were some of the biggest challenges you had to overcome in getting things off the ground?
Insurance. Insurance. So one of the things is I didn't want this to be, like I said, another Craigslist, just kind of like a glorified Craigslist. What I wanted it to be was a true trusted marketplace that everyone could get behind. And I knew if insurance was not there, it was going to be nothing. It was kind of a gamble because I invested my own money into it. My business partners invested their money as well, and we raised some angel funding as well. So we already had almost close to $500,000 devoted to the company, and the insurance wasn't there. So those 6 months were nerve-wracking for us. We just kept telling the industry there just has to be a way that the answer can't be no. And so I think that was the biggest hurdle for us was insurance. I think most startups, it's always money, but we were fortunate early on to have the funding that we needed. And we're out there today doing a seed round raise for $2 million. So we're confident that we're going to get that as well and continue down our path. But for us, it was definitely the insurance and making that so that people have a trusted marketplace and they have no worries or fears about listing their drone on Up Sonder.
Now, I know you've only just launched, but what are some of the encouraging signs that let you know that you're on the right track?
Well, it's great because, we just launched beta. And before that, we hadn't really done too much advertising or really the system wasn't even open. And before we even launched beta, we were already growing month over month by 32%. We were averaging 3 new drone pilots every day. And so the word just kind of trickled out and it was really nice. And the reason why we're focusing so much on, like I said earlier, maybe doing a national rollout with it before the first quarter is over is because we only focused on San Francisco, Chicago, New York. But today we have, mind you, again, we're just started beta, so we really haven't even done much. We have over 25 states with operators in it that are saying, hey, when can I get on the platform? When can I do this? So the demand out there is very exciting to see. So we're excited that hopefully what we can do, we don't want to leave those people out in the cold. We want to say, okay, we're now going to be doing a national launch and we're ready for you. So let's do this together.
For people who don't live in the cities where you currently operate, what should they do to get ready for when you do roll out the service?
The best thing to do is our platform does not block you if you're in an area that we don't service currently. And what we do is we encourage people to go ahead and sign up now. You can sign up, you can put all your information in, you can get the verifications out of the way and be ready to go basically when we open those different markets. So you'll be ahead of the game if you sign up early and get those verifications out of the way to be one of the first to go up and one of the first to rent your services or your drone when the market opens up. So I think getting onto the platform early is a good thing, and I would encourage it.
And again, there's no fee for signing up with Up Sonder.
There's not. No. Joining Up Sonder is completely free. Listing your services is free. Listing your drone for rent is free. We're a completely free marketplace. Where we make our money and where our revenue stream comes from, we take a percentage of every transaction. So we don't get paid until you get paid. And we think that's fair.
And just so that I'm clear on everything, the main requirements are that for drone for service operators, they have to have a Part 107 certification.
Correct.
And for a drone for rent, it must be registered with the FAA.
That's exactly right. So if you're only listing your drone for rent, then you don't need the Part 107 license. We don't need to see that you're a certified because you're never going to be operating on behalf of someone else. But we just do need to see that you registered and you followed the law and you have your drone registered with the FAA. And then on the opposite side of things, if you are going to be operating for a person for their project, then we need to see that you're certified by the FAA and we need to see your licenses and credentials.
In using UberRUSH, does that happen after the order has been completed, or does the renter have to arrange for that?
That's a great question. And actually, the answer is we made it flawless and seamless. So you don't have to leave our site to order Uber. Basically, the way it works is we integrated their technology into our back end. And so their code is integrated into our code. And so it's working together. And so basically what happens is you make a booking, what we do, and we're all web-based, web and mobile-based. We don't have an app. We're developing an app, but everything works just flawlessly, just going to our website. You don't have to worry about downloading anything. But what we do is we send you a text message and just you made a booking, go ahead and reply, pick up US 24, and that would be your code for your particular booking. And then you would just reply to that text message, pick up US 24, and then basically that signals to order UberRUSH. And so Uber is automatically generated, it's ping on their end, one of their carriers picks up the order, and then we send you the information, the map that shows you where the courier is. We give you the courier's phone number so you can contact them directly if you need to, which you won't. But we just keep kind of updating you with text messages saying, okay, your order has been accepted. The UberRUSH driver is on his way. They're 2 minutes out. They're outside. And then we send text messages to the other side of the equation saying your drone is on your way to you. And then we send them a map. So it just works flawlessly. And we really utilize the text messaging system.
What are some of the key questions prospective users have when they come to Up Sonder?
Some of the questions that come out is, basically the insurance questions pop up. That was a huge, and I knew it was going to be a huge one. And I think we were right when the majority of the people that come to us is like, well, what about insurance? Do you have insurance? And we say, yes, we do. And they're so happy. They're so happy to hear that. So insurance is a big one. A lot of people are concerned about their drone. Again, drone owners are very passionate people, and they want to hear that, well, this is scary. How do you ensure that these people are who they say they are? And, we tell them all about the verifications that we put them through and that we have their ID on record and whatnot. So, between insurance, and it's all a safety issue. People want to make sure that things are taken care of and that at the end of the day, we can just have this great marketplace where people can earn a little bit extra money, where people can just save a little bit of extra money by renting. But they're really concerned with safety and who the other person is on the other side. So we tell them all about the review system. We tell them all about the communication system. We tell them all about how we put complete control and pricing and determination on if you're going to say yes or no into the provider's hand. So we tell them all those things and really put them at ease and let them know that, look, this is your business. We're just a marketplace and we're facilitating this opportunity, but you have total control. And I think at the end of the day, this is what makes people happy about Up Sonder.
I should mention that your webpage has an extensive list of frequently asked questions for anyone that wants more information. I found it really helpful.
Well, thank you. I personally think I'm constantly hounding my team. I was like, we need more frequently asked questions. I was like, let's get those listed. So maybe my efforts, it's good to hear that you feel we have an extensive list, because I'm barking at my team that we need more. Everything in this day and age is really on demand. We're an on-demand company. And so, we have operators on the website for live chat. We have a back end where you can internally message us when you're logged in. They can talk to one of our team members. And we'd like to get you answers as soon as possible. But, a lot of people like to do self-teaching and whatnot and really rely on those frequently asked questions. So I like to have them there.
What's the provider guarantee that I've seen on your website?
So with the provider guarantee, we charge the renter. It's kind of like when you go to the rental car company and, you can choose for $11 a day to buy that. If anything happens to the car, you're covered and they're not going to charge your insurance company or whatnot. We offer something similar to that, but ours is a lower price point. Ours is $7. It's called a damage waiver fee, and the renter pays for that. And so we take that money and we kind of stockpile that money, and we say that this is for the company guarantee. And so what we do is that if anything happens to your drone, whether it breaks during the rental process, we will replace it or we will fix it and give you a credit up to $2,500. And what that does to the renter is they have the opportunity to take advantage of this low-cost damage waiver fee and get a credit of $2,500 so that nothing can go wrong for them on their end. And then as far as the provider is concerned, we as a company will give them that same credit to help pay for their drone if the worst happens. You can choose not to take that damage waiver, and we just let the renter know that they are then liable for damages and that we put a $500 hold onto their credit card. We just kind of let them know that, you're taking full responsibility here. And so we as a company would pass on that cost to our renters. But either way, we're taking care of our providers. The Up Sonder was designed for the drone industry, was designed for the drone owner, designed for the drone pilot, and we really want to keep their best interests in mind. So we have every intention of if something does go wrong, we're going to make it whole. Regardless, it's going to come facilitated through Up Sonder.
I see you also have a renter refund policy. What's that about?
We let the provider set whether they have a strict, moderate, or flexible return policy. So we're very upfront with the renter, and they know before they rent their drone what the refund policy is. So depending on what the provider set on the refund policy, the renter will know ahead of time. So that's very clearly stated. So there's no kind of hidden agenda or anything like that. So one, we're very transparent about that. And then two, we send a text message for them to, as far as when they're flying, if they get into any trouble, again, we recommend Verifly. And we send out those messages to them as soon as they get their drone. We're saying, hey, be cautious, go out there and take insurance. And we recommend Verifly. So between those two, being transparent on the site and letting them know exactly what kind of refund policy the provider has chosen, and then also encouraging them to take the proper steps in getting insured. And then the third thing is we also encourage them to download Before You Fly app from the FAA that will give them a general understanding of where their area is and what kind of restrictions are in place. And so between those three different areas, we really feel that we're giving the renter a good understanding of how to fly safely.
Is this the first company that you've taken from idea to launch?
Yes and no. So this is my personal first company, but I've been working with the Korean government for the past 8 years. And though I've been working in the financial sector of things, I've worked extensively with a number of Korean companies that are looking to make their entry point into the U.S. So I've grown numerous companies through consulting and through working with them to take them into an unknown market and kind of make them flourish here in the United States. So for my very own personal company, yes. But as far as my track record and my history, no. I've done this multiple times.
What's been the most rewarding part of this experience for you?
I've always had a fascination for the sky. And, when I was a kid, I used to fly these styrofoam gliders, and it was always fun. I've always been a huge fan of Elon Musk, and I love the idea of us populating Mars. And I'm totally just a sci-fi geek. And so I think the coolest thing about this is just physically owning a drone company. Like, it's very not that my financial career wasn't fulfilling. It was. I love everything to do with Korea. It always has a huge part in my heart. But to wake up every day and run a drone company, there's just something so neat about that. It makes me smile. It makes me get out of bed. It makes me, it's just everything to me. And I think that's the best part, is doing something that you really love and are excited about.
So what are the next steps for Up Sonder?
We have a 10-year plan that we're going to be implementing, but over the short term, this 6 months is all going to be U.S. focused. So we're very much going to be expanding from coast to coast in the U.S., servicing all 50 states and really growing our base. We really want to grow our network in a very real way, but grow it smart. And we also want to be very aggressive with market share and capture much of it as possible. That's really our goal for the next 6 months. 2018 is going to be international focus, and we'll start venturing out into Australia and into Ireland and Europe and places like that. And then beyond that, we are going to be getting into, I like to say that we're a energy and drone delivery company disguised as a marketplace. We're really in every aspect of the drone industry, and we see that there's a very big need to solve the energy equation. Battery technology does not follow Moore's law. It does not get exponentially better year after year. And the world can only expect maybe at best a 5% increase on battery technology to power our drones. And I really do envision a future where the FAA eliminates the line of sight, and that will really open the doors for commercial use as far as delivery is concerned. But at the same time, industry is still going to have to deal with the energy limitations. And so we're starting today to build the drone infrastructure for that. And one of the questions when you come onto Up Sonder that we simply ask is, do you own your home? Do you have access to your roof? And would you be willing to let us install a drone charging dock on there? And what we're doing is we're securing rooftop real estate across the United States so that we can put these rapid drone charging docks on our members' roofs to charge and power the drone superhighway when it does come. So that's phase 2 of Up Sonder. Is we're going to be getting into solving the energy situation with the drones. And then the third is eventually, once our membership reaches a critical mass, we really want to jump into drone deliveries and service the C2C, the consumer-to-consumer, home-to-home segment of the population, and give our members another way, another revenue stream for them to be earning money. But that's a very long-term vision, and there's a lot that needs to happen before then.
That sounds pretty exciting. As I listen to you talk, it's apparent that the long-range plan for Up Sonder really embodies something larger than just a drone marketplace.
Yes. And I think that's needed in any business. I think if you're stagnant and, I can't expect a drone marketplace to be the same type of drone marketplace 5 years from now or even 2 years from now. There really has to be a new transition, a new step for every company, whether you're Johnson & Johnson or you're McDonald's, switching to having kale at your fast food joint. But there always has to be kind of that next step. And we really see that next step for us is energy.
What is Up Sonder Life? And could you talk about this idea that you have for providing clean drinking water?
Our nonprofit called Up Sonder Life, short US Life. What we do as a company as part of our social responsibility is we take a portion of every transaction and we donate it to this nonprofit. And what Up Sonder Life does is deliver fresh drinking water by the millions of gallons to places in Africa and really use the philanthropic portion of Up Sonder to really do some good in the world. And so we're starting our efforts in Africa right now. And we really think that that's a special part of our company, that it's more than just doing drone rentals. It's actually doing good in the world.
Derek, did we miss anything that we should talk about?
Drone 360 magazine just came out with their January 2017 issue. And in it, Up Sonder was named one of the top 5 drone companies of 2017 that is changing the world. A tremendously huge honor for us. We were over the moon when this issue came out. You can pick that copy of that magazine up at any Barnes & Nobles or wherever magazines are sold in the United States. But it was just a huge honor, and to be validated by our peers in the industry, I think that motivates us, keeps us going, and it really lets us know that we're on the right track and that we're not going to let them down.
And for my final question, what do you hope the lasting impact Up Sonder will have on the world?
It has everything to do with our US Life nonprofit. I think delivering, and I know it has really nothing to do with drones. And I was actually having lunch today with a friend of mine. He's a CEO of another company in the sharing economy. But he was asking me. He goes, he's like, I don't get the water angle. And I said, it's not an angle. I said, I've traveled all over the world and I've seen people that lack this valuable resource and live in these very impoverished situations. And I said, it's not a joke. And I said, these people are really needing this access to clean drinking water. So I could care less that it has nothing to do with drones. I was like, people need this limited resource. And if all I could have at the end of the day is that Up Sonder provided through us being a profitable company, that profit helped get those people access to clean drinking water, that's all I need.
That's it for episode 87 of the Drone Radio Show. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Derek Waleko of Up Sonder and learning about the new drone rental and drone service marketplace. I want to thank Derek for sharing the story of Up Sonder and for taking the time to speak with me. If you want more information about Up Sonder or want to connect with Derek, check out the webpage at upsonder.com. You can also register with the marketplace and stay informed on when the service will be available in your area. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a positive review on iTunes. It really does help. And as always, I hope you'll listen to more episodes of the Drone Radio Show podcast to hear how others are using drones for business, fun, and research. For the Drone Radio Show, I'm Randy Gores.
This has been the Drone Radio Show podcast. More information on today's show can be found on our website at www.droneradioshow.com. If you're using drone technology for business, fun, or research and would like to share your experience on the show, please visit our website and fill out a guest appearance application. And don't forget to follow us on your favorite social media channels.